Welcome to another episode of My Junk is Stuff Garage. In this one, we are going to take a look at, I don't know what I was thinking. Once again, I'm the dummy that sometimes will put a bid on stuff just to look at it. Well, I won this little box. $4.99 for a box of three HO scale locomotives. You think any of them look complete in the pictures? Nah. You think they're modern or recent or new or anything like that? Nah. Are they total pieces of crap and worthless and you might as well throw them in the trash can since it's a $4.99 auction? Well, I don't know. Stick around and see. Alright, let's see how this works here. Okay. So here's the $4.99 box of engines. 3 engines, $4.99. What could be greater than that, right? Alright, let's pull this one out. Engine number 1. Oh my, look at that. That, my friends, is a plastic boiler shelled Varney. And here we have our fine high quality Varney 040 dockside switcher. And yes, that giant 2-inch long screw was somehow used to connect the frame to the weight in that plastic boiler. And yeah, that's a little light, little grain of wheat light bulb. So I'm not sure if that's original or not. I'll have to do a little more research on this, but what do you bet? You think this will work or not? Let's see. Oh, not working. Oh, she's working. Now, okay. Try out number 2. All right, what do we have here? Loco number 2. You know, I struggled for a while trying to figure out what this loco might be. Turns out what I think it is. All right, next up, we've got the Saki 262 from about 1962 or 3. Let's see what we get here. Whole lot of nothing. And let's see what loco number 3 is. Oh boy. There we go. That looks interesting. And there's a tender. So loco number 3. A nice vintage Mantua Tyco 462 Pacific. Alright. Now clearly we're missing a few things. You can see right off the bat. Missing a tender truck, missing a drawbar, missing a cab, missing a lead truck, and we're missing the cow catcher on the front. And looks like we got some craziness going on with the side rods. Right, so we're missing some stuff there as well. But hey, who can go wrong with a nice 462 Pacific? I mean, come on. The box was $4.99. $4. Let me say that again. 3 easy payments of $1.25. No, 4 easy payments of $1.25. All right, here you go on our high quality test board layout, workbench, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes call it a hockey table. Got the highest quality 1972 or 3 AHM transformer, and got some jumper leads hooked up. We got it cranked up as far as it'll go. Let's see. Will we get anything? Oh, look at that. She runs until we get it all jammed up. Holy cow, that's a run. Okay. All right. Well, let's start taking this thing apart. See what we got here. Get that off. Okay, so there we go. Got our tender apart. Okay, there's tender. Scoot that off to the side. Let's see what kind of a mess I can make out of the locomotive. I'm trying to keep centered and not block all the light here. All right, trailing truck off. Drawbar screw. Oops. Oh, here. Oh, yep. Drawbar screw off. Lead truck screw and springs off. Probably for the pilot they got broken off. Off. Alright, missing all my side rod stuff there. Let's see. I guess I can take these guys. And I'm kind of ad-libbing this, right? At least I'm not holding the camera with my hands. I've got it rubber banded to a piece of wood held in a little 4-inch vise sitting on my table. So that's kind of interesting. We'll see how that works. All right. All right, so off the boiler comes. Get that screw out. Let's see. Well, get that back over here. Let me take these off. There we go. Okay, we got those out. So really at this point I could take the boiler and tender shell and they could go get washed. Washted. Let's see. I know some guys are all worried about side rods, but I've already got a side rod issue with this, so I'm not worried about them. So, let's see. I don't have a proper little socket for this like I should, so you got to be real gentle doing what I'm trying to do here. If you're not, you're going to mangle the hockey out of these. Because these are little brass hex head screws. Probably if I was smart, I'd looked in that little box of my dad's stuff and seen if he had one. But you can see how much fun I'm having with these. And it's really difficult with a pair of pliers like this, because you really got to have a lot of little patience. Oh, and I got big old fingers. So again, this is not easy. There we go. I think we got that out. So that's what the side rods, or the main rod screw will look like. And there will be a spacer in here. And there's the spacer. Okay, so we got that. So I guess I can do what scares people and go, just take all that junk off. There we go. So, let's see. Might as well take the motor off. That's probably, yep, that would be that screw right there. And off the motor comes. That screw goes down. So let's see. Try and get that where you can see it. So those look nice. Those look nice. I think those look alright. Don't think I got a bent axle or wheel. So hey, that's a super bonus. So we got a couple of these. We gotta do some straightening on. Get out the custom tools there and do a little unmangling. And you do want to be a little gentle with these, right? Otherwise you don't want to have waves in them. And so I'll probably, off camera, I'll probably take these loose, especially if I can find find a little socket head to take these off, and do that. And then we'll do some cleaning on the wheels. You know, one way is like that, right? You can cleans the wheels off that way. The manual take a little bit of time, but we'll clean the wheels and we'll clean the motor. These are always interesting. I keep seeing on other people's videos, but this little spring right here, it's a brush spring. Where it lands is where the power lead comes back to the tender. And it's not really soldered or anything. It just kind of tucks under this little spring dippy-do right there. So, oh, she looks pretty good. I may take this all the way apart and clean that. I don't really think I want to pull the worm off though, but I will want to clean, polish the barrel of the armature, the commutator segments right there. If I were to take the worm gear off, I could actually take this armature and put it in my lathe, and I would polish those that way. But I don't think I'm going to go that far. I think I'm going to be a cheater and see what we can do here. So, all right, and here you go. I just took them and, you know, ran them under a little bit of water, did a little Dawn dishwashing detergent restoration job on them. You can see this tender is got 2 broken steps, which is unfortunate. I did find a nice replacement mint tender shell on eBay for $12 plus shipping, and that's tempting. And who knows, I might break down and do that. But in the spirit of getting this guy rolling and back together, we're gonna roll with this. And I guess the other opportunity that leaves is, I've thought it would be cool. I know there's a lot of other guys that do replacement things like that, or fixes with either printed parts or you know, some other neat little tricks. So maybe that's a good, you know, opportunity for something different to do in the future on the tender shell and the locomotive shell. Gosh, it doesn't even look like we'll have to do any touch-up. Maybe it looks like there's a little getting out of focus there, sorry, a little corrosion up there, and maybe a little spot right down here where my thumb is. But other than that, she looks pretty good. Did recognize while cleaning, you can see, I think, that that boiler is well, it's solid. So it's non-firing, obviously, but what that really means is that there's no this particular locomotive, at the point it was built, did not have wire leads for an LED headlight, which is okay. And I've been not real sure of the time frame. I've got some learning to do on my Tyco Mantua time frames. I believe they started making this Pacific steam locomotives sometime in the early to mid 60s, like 64, 65, something like that. And of course by then they had, I guess the original company had kind of ceased using the Mantua name and just went with the Tyco. And so you have all the red box era. They were still made in the US at that point in time. It wasn't until about 1970 or 71 when the original owner sold, and Tyco went overseas at that point. And of course you had a lot of the same, they still make the same locomotive, but parts would be made overseas, I believe. You get all the Hong Kong Tyco and what's known as the brown box era. And so the brown box era is typically what coincides with the overseas production. So anyway, that's where we're at. So I'll do a little more cleaning. We'll put some stuff together, and maybe we'll get some parts in the mail. All right, I took some time to dig through my little container there, and screws down on the bottom. Screw and the spacer are the ones that came out of the Pacific that I just took apart, and the screw and spacer on the top are the ones that I found in my little stash of parts from my dad's locomotive. So looks like his screw is a little bit longer, so we'll see if that causes me a problem or not with this Pacific. We'll see. Hopefully not, but I think that should let me clean this thing up and at least put the mechanism back together and get this thing running while I'm waiting to figure out what I'm going to do for, you know, cab and steam chest, or not steam chest, but the you know, the pilot cow catcher and feed truck and that type of stuff. So, all right, here we go. Now, the last you remember about this Tyco Mantua Pacific locomotive was that I was missing a tender truck, I was missing a cab, I was missing a lead truck and a cow catcher, and I was missing the side rod screw for the main drive rod. Okay, so, well, obviously a few things have happened since then. You remember I stole that main drive rod screw and the spacer from some parts that I already had from my dad's homemade locomotive. And I took a little delay because I've been kicking myself for a long time. I for some reason don't have any really small socket wrenches, and so I get tired of, you know, taking a chance of buggering up those little hex head bolts. So what I did was I sucked it up, got the old wallet out, and went and purchased this nice little set of 4 Socketto wrenches. Now, just for your own amusement, I found this a little confusing, but I did, after I looked enough, found a documentation to verify, if you will. You know, Walthers lists these as 00 or 00, 0, and 1 and 2 sizes. And basically what they are is the hex head that corresponds to, let's see, I think it's 0090, 0080, 172, and I think 256. I might be lying about that last one, but I believe that's what they correspond to. But it's confusing because when you look these things up, you may see only one or the other, and you can get them in a 4-piece set like this, or you can purchase them individually. So I went ahead and just purchased all of them because not only do they have these little funny little HOs, I got a bunch of, I'm into pre-war 2-rail, outside 3rd rail, O scale locomotives, and they use a lot of hex head bolts of those sizes. So anyway, so I purchased a proper socket wrench, and that allowed me to go ahead and properly tighten these up. So I'm not gonna untighten them, but there you go. So all right, so that's the side rod screws. They're all good to go. Okay, so the next thing was, well, I needed a lead truck, and I was missing that. And you know, I don't know. Once you buy 3 locos in a box for $4.99, it's really hard for you to go and spend big money on piece parts, right? And heck, I spent 20 bucks on that set of socket wrenches. So I needed a lead truck, and I kept seeing those. I mean, why would I pay $10, $12 for just the lead truck plus $5 shipping? I went and, you know, this wasn't too much, so I bought this guy, and you know, I just kind of stole the lead truck off it. So, and when this showed up, it was missing a smokestack and had some other damage, but that'll be a good loco, and I'll just borrow it for a little while till I can get caught up and find a good deal on a lead truck. So that's how I look at that. And then, like most things, I was looking for a cab, and the same problem applies. You know, 10, 12, 14 bucks for a cab plus $4, $6, $8 shipping. And I just couldn't bring myself to do that. Too much of a cheapskate. And so I found a lot where somebody had all of this stuff here, right? And so they had a couple of cabs for that, a nose for a GP9, and a couple of, heck, I don't know, that's an Alco switcher cab, and that looks like an RS3 cab maybe. It was like $7.50, $4 shipping. And one of the 5 pieces was the cab I need. So I bid on that, and I got lucky, and no one else wanted to bid against me. So that came home. So now I got a cab, and I got 4 other things to put in the parts box for later. Which, you know, that's a good thing, right? And so then the last thing I got to show is, well, I was looking for tender trucks and got tired of the same thing. And so, wouldn't you know it, I went and bid on this whole tender. It was only $8, and no one else wanted it. So I got a whole tender for $8. So I guess the good part is I got a truck. But the bad part is now I'm back where I started. I got an extra tender that's missing a truck. So you know what that meant? I went and found a lone truck. Actually, I think I found a pair of trucks for like $4 or something like that, and got lucky and nobody wanted those. So they're on their way too. They're just not here yet. So you know, it is what it is. So basically, at this point, now I've got everything, I think, to put this little guy back together, except for the old cow catcher. And well, all this other stuff make it run. I just can't bring myself to spend $12 on a cow catcher and another $4 or $5 shipping. So I mean, if I'd have bought all those individual pieces, I'd have been another $40 frankly, on an engine that I paid $1.67 for. So I guess you can look at it 2 ways. One way you can look at it and say, well, I only paid $1.67 for it, and it's probably worth $30 or $40, so that makes it all even out. Or you can look at it and say, I only paid $1.67 for it. Why the heck should I go spend another $40 on it when I can figure something out? So that's where we are. So I got everything I need except for the cow catcher. So here we go. I'll start putting this back together and see where we land.